Hi everyone, and welcome to Lipstick on a Rig. Today we're going to be making this very simple Santa wine tote that I'm really excited about. And this wine tote is a part of my 4 skein Christmas challenge, where I see how many projects I can make using only 4 skeins of yarn. So if you're interested in the rest of my 4 skein challenge videos, check the links in the description because I will have them listed down there. And for our Santa wine tote, we're going to be working with size 4 medium weight acrylic yarn. And the colors I'm using for this are Varsity Red, Black, and Cream. I'm also going to be using a size F or 5 or 3.75 millimeter crochet hook. And we are going to begin with a magic circle, and we're going to place 13 double crochets inside of it. And if you're unfamiliar with any of the stitches used in this pattern, then please check the links in the description because I will have my beginner stitch tutorial videos listed down there. And once you've placed your 13 single crochets inside the magic circle, then you're just going to pull on your tail to tighten the gap. And we're going to skip our first double crochet, which might be a little bit hard to see. We're going to place a slip stitch in our second double crochet from the previous row. And I am going to work over my tail. It's just an option that you have. So go ahead and insert your crochet hook in that second double crochet and drape your tail over your stitch. Then just yarn over and pull through all the loops on your crochet hook. From here we're going to chain 2 and we're going to place 2 double crochets in each stitch in our row. And that does include this first stitch where we placed our slip stitch. So we're just going to line our tail up with our stitches and work over it like it is one of our stitches. So go ahead and place 2 double crochets in each stitch in your row, and when you get to the end of your row, you should have a total of 24 double crochet stitches. And at the end of the row, we are going to skip our slip stitch and our chain 2. And we're going to slip stitch into the top of our first double crochet stitch. And for our next row, we're going to chain 2 and we're going to alternate between placing 1 double crochet in our first stitch and then 2 double crochets in our second stitch. And we're just going to continue to alternate between those two, going all the way around our row. And the first stitch of this row should be where you placed your slip stitch. So go ahead and repeat that pattern going all the way around your row, and when you get done you should have a total of 36 double crochet stitches. And at the end of our row we're going to skip the slip stitch as well as the chain 2. And we're going to slip stitch into the top of our first double crochet stitch. And from here we are going to begin a continuous loop pattern, which means we won't be starting and stopping each individual row, but instead our pattern is going to act like a spiral. And we're going to begin with this very first stitch where we just placed our slip stitch. So we're going to insert our crochet hook in the back loop only and place 1 single crochet there. And we're just going to repeat that for every stitch in our row, placing 1 single crochet in the back loop only. And you should have a total of 36 single crochets when you get to the end of your row. And when you get to the end of your row, make sure you skip your slip stitch right here, and we're going to dive right into our first single crochet with a double crochet in the full stitch. And from here, we're just going to place one double crochet in each stitch in each row. And as you can see here, as you approach the end of your row, you should be able to flow seamlessly, so you can just continue to place one double crochet in each stitch in each row to build the body of your wine tote. And I went ahead and crocheted 18 rows of placing one double crochet in each stitch in each row. And you can end your last row wherever you would like, but wherever you are, what you're going to do is place one single crochet in your next stitch, and then you're going to chain 9. And we're going to skip 9 stitches. And in our 10th stitch, we're going to place a single crochet. And we're going to place one single crochet in the next 8 stitches so that we have a total of 9 single crochet stitches. And once you have your 9 single crochets in place, then you're just going to chain 9 again. And once you have your 9 chains in place, then we are going to skip 9 stitches. And again, in that 10th stitch, we're going to place a single crochet. We're going to place one single crochet in our remaining 8 stitches, and that should get us back to our first set of chains. And your last stitch should be in that very first single crochet stitch. Next, we're going to place 9 single crochets over our chain stitches. So to do that, we're going to insert our crochet hook in the gap between our wine tote and our handle, so right here. Then we're going to yarn over and pull up through, and then yarn over and drop our 2 loops. And we're just going to repeat that until we have 9 single crochets over our chain. And once you have your 9 single crochets over your chain, it should look like this. So from here, we're going to place one single crochet in the 9 stitches between our chains. And again, when we get back to our second set of chains, we're just going to place 9 single crochets over them. And again, we are going to place one single crochet in each of the stitches between our 2 sets of chains. So you should have a total of 9 single crochets when you get back to your first set of chains. And for our next row, we're just going to place one single crochet in each stitch in our row. And we're going to repeat this for multiple rows to build the body of our handles. So you should be able to flow seamlessly between your rows like we were doing for our double crochet stitches. And I crocheted 4 rows on top of my handles, but you can crochet as many as you want to get these as thick as you would like. So once you've gotten your handles to your desired thickness, somewhere in between the second and the first handle, you're just going to want to place 6 slip stitches. And then we're just going to cut and tie off our yarn. And I am going to weave my tail down the inside of my wine tote. And once you're done hiding your tail, then it's time to create the belt. And now, working with our cream colored yarn, we are going to tie a slip knot to attach our crochet hook. And we're going to chain 10. Once you have your 10 chains in place, then turn them over so that you can access these back bumps back here. We're going to place one single crochet in each of these back bumps. So when you get to the end of your row, you should have a total of 10 single crochets. And when you get to the end of your row, you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. From here, we're going to skip our turning chain and we're going to place 1 single crochet in the following stitch. Then we're going to place 1 single crochet in the remaining 9 stitches of our row. And once you have your 10 single crochets in place, then you're going to chain 1 and turn your work. And we're going to repeat that last row a total of 5 times so that we have a total of 8 rows. And once you've repeated that last row 5 times, then you're just going to chain 8. And we're going to insert our crochet hook on this opposite end here. So right there, in the last stitch from the first row. And we're going to place a single crochet there. Then we're going to place 1 single crochet in each of these stitches from the first row. And when you get to the end of your row, you are just going to chain 8 again. And again, we are going to insert our crochet hook in this first stitch from our last row. We're going to place a single crochet. And we're going to place 1 single crochet in the remaining stitches until we get back to our other chain 8 over here. And when you get back to your chain 8, you're going to work around the chains as a whole, and we're going to place 8 single crochets around our chain 8. So to do that, insert your crochet hook in the gap between the square and your chains, and yarn over and pull up through. Then yarn over and drop the 2 loops on your crochet hook. Go ahead and repeat that until you have 8 single crochets over your chain. And when you get back to your original single crochet from before, go ahead and just place another single crochet there. And we're going to place 1 single crochet in the remaining stitches between our chain 8s. And again, we are going to place 8 single crochets over our chains. And once you've placed your 8 single crochets, then we're just going to insert our crochet hook back in that first stitch over here, and we're going to place a single crochet. Then we're going to place 1 single crochet in the remaining stitches from this row. And when you get back to your chain 8, you're going to chain 1, and then you're going to place 1 single crochet in each of these stitches going all the way around the row. And once you've made it back around past your second chain 8, what you're going to do is place 1 slip stitch in your remaining 10 stitches instead of placing single crochets. And once you're done placing your 10 slip stitches, then you're just going to cut and tie off your yarn. And we're going to leave all of our tails so that we can attach this to our project. And I am going to show you how to work the belt with the green yarn because the black is a little bit hard to see. but you're going to want to grab your black strand of yarn. So we're going to begin by attaching the yarn to our crochet hook using a slip knot, and then we're going to chain 10. And once you have your 10 chains in place, then we're going to turn our work and we're going to skip the first 2 chains, and in the back loop only of that 3rd chain from your crochet hook, you're going to place a double crochet. And then you're going to place 1 double crochet in the back loop only of the remaining 7 stitches in your row. So you should have a total of 8 double crochets and a chain 2 when you're done. And at the end of your row, you're just going to chain 2 and turn your work. And the pattern for this row is going to be to place 1 double crochet in each stitch in your row. And you're going to skip that chain 2. So when you get to the end of your row, you should have a total of 8 double crochets and a chain 2. And again, at the end of your row, you're just going to chain 2 and turn your work. And from here, we are going to repeat that last row until we have a total of 22 rows of double crochet stitches, or until this can fit comfortably around your wine tote base. And now I've switched over to my black yarn because I need to secure this to my belt buckle. So once you have your 22 rows of double crochets, your belt should look like this. And for this next part, go ahead and grab the belt buckle that we made before and go ahead and pull your belt through it. So now we are going to secure these 2 edges together. So go ahead and fold them together like this on the right side of your belt. After we secure them together, we're going to turn the entire belt inside out. So we're going to begin by chaining 1 off of our last double crochet, and then we're going to insert our crochet hook up underneath the full last double crochet stitch. And then we're going to insert our crochet hook up underneath this last loop from our first row. Then we're just going to yarn over and drop all the loops on our crochet hook for a slip stitch. And we're just going to repeat this process for the corresponding stitches on both sides of our belt. And once you've secured your 2 edges together, go ahead and cut and tie off your yarn. And I am going to tie my starting and ending tails together twice. And so if you want to be able to slide this belt on and off, then go ahead and hide all of your tails. And I recommend hiding them on the back side of this belt. But you can also use your tails to secure this to your wine tote. And I chose to hide my tails. So now all I'm going to do is turn my belt inside out. And once you have your belt in place, then it's time to crochet 2 or 3 buttons to go on the very top. And I'm going to show you with the black yarn, but I know that's a little bit tough to see. So all you really are going to do to create your buttons is just follow the pattern for this very first row from our wine tote. So we're going to begin with a magic circle, and we're going to place 13 double crochets inside of it. And then we are going to slip stitch into the top of our second double crochet. And we're going to cut and tie off our yarn. And now I'm just going to secure the button to my wine tote using my starting and ending tail. And before you secure it, make sure it's centered in your handle like that. And now we are just going to repeat that 1 or 2 more times depending on how many buttons you want to have. And if your buttons need a little bit of extra reinforcement, when you cut off your tails, go ahead and just use those to secure it further. And once you've added your buttons, it is time to insert your wine bottle. And after you insert your bottle of wine, it should look something like this. Please let me know in the comments below if you experienced any issues while you were making this, and I will do my best to help you out. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel, Lipstick on a Rig. Thank you so much for working with me, and I hope you have a wonderful, awesome day.